Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my unboxing of the Rosebud Tarot. The Rosebud Tarot is a 78-card tarot deck based on the structure and images found in the classic Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Its images, created by Amanda Lee Stilwell, are digital collage dreamscape pathways into archetype. Its guidebook, written by Diana Rose Harper, is heart-opening mytho-poetry that gives keys to meaning, not just keywords to memorize. The creators have deliberately chosen to rename several of the cards in the deck, including renaming the court cards. They made this choice as part of the larger project that several deck creators have been participating in for years, bringing the images and language of the tarot into a contemporary context, acknowledging gender multiplicity and moving towards archetypal depictions that are more resonant for the modern tarot reader. As you can see, these backs are beautiful, and this is a beautiful linen cardstock. And measuring the deck up to the normal, regular RWS yellow box card, you can see that the card is just slightly wider and slightly shorter. Makes it really easy to use. So, let's do a musical flip through of this beautiful deck, and I'll meet you on the other side.
You say take me on a treasure hunt. I long for something new. Have you heard the fairies when they sing and dance? I wish it was me every night. When I close my eyes, I see beauty lives in me. I know I don't yet know it, so I trust you when you say that beauty lives in me. shapes in millennia. But you're okay. I don't have the pieces of you buried in the flashbacks. All these wicked nightmares has gone cold. No, we go way, way back, as far as way back goes. Still standing by your side. You know I'll be right here when all the monsters come. I've got you.
All right, I hope you enjoyed the musical flip through of this Rosebud Tarot. Now, first and foremost, I just want to tell you how thrilled I am with the size of this card. It's a little bit shorter than standard tarot, but it's wider, so you can see the wonderful collage art done in the collage work done for the card. There's just a very small and unobtrusive border, and as you saw at the beginning, probably that I'll do with my intro, I compared it with a regular standard RWS US Games deck, and you see, yeah, it's wider. You can see how much wider, and you can see it's shorter, but it's wider. So you can get the full effect, and you don't have to strain your eyes to see the wonderful collage work that's being done. The other plus, it's in my beloved linen cardstock. It is slippy, but I love linen cardstock. It takes a beating, and because it has so much give and bend, you know, the cards hold up. Now I'm just going to flip through as I speak, but they're for artwork, vintage artwork that's being put in this deck. There is some wonderful diversity. Some of these images, maybe one or two I have in some of my other decks, or I've seen before. I've seen her before, but you can see that this is a wonderful RWS adjacent deck, but it's got very much its own twist to it with the wonderful collage. A lot of the cards, many of the cards have been renamed. You know that the court cards have been renamed, and the suits, and a lot of the major arcana has been. So instead of the Empress, we have the Life Giver. And I think this is just an adorable image. We have the Elder for the Emperor, the Professor for the Hierophant, and you know what? I'm really digging these changes, and you see that it is diverse for this, you know, old photography, old artwork. The creators did a wonderful job of making this deck more inclusive for this genre, you know, for this art form. And I think it is fantastic. I know I've seen her before, but, and these lions, they kind of remind me of something that would be in Danielle Noel's decks. Now, I almost didn't buy this deck because I'm thinking, how many collage decks do I need of old art? Because you know, my favorite tarot decks are old collage, old photography, old antique imagery. This is totally up my alley. And let me just show you. I play with collage, and during the beginning of the COVID lockdowns, Heather Hopes did some soul collage classes that you could sign up, and for either free or a very economical price, you took a soul collage class, you made your own cards. And I'm going to show you two that I have on my two altars in my house that I did, and it's nothing that can compare with this, you know, wonderful masterpiece down here. But it's an art form that I really love. I don't know what it is about collage, but it just sparks something in my imagination. It stirs something within me, creating it in my own meager way, and also looking at it. And you know, we all have different things that touch us, and in these two cards, you know, they have special meaning for me. They won't mean anything to any of you, but creating it, you can make your own deck with collage, which is wonderful because I can't draw at all. And this is a way that I can get creative and, you know, try to tap into any little artistic talent that I may have. So, you know, that's why I love collage art. There's so many things that you can just lose yourself in a collage deck. And I like how the creators renamed alchemy instead of temperance. I think this is an adorable card. I quite like this devil too. There are some cards in here that are very, I know I've seen, I think this could be Anna Pavlova, the famous Russian ballerina. I think it is. She's got very distinctive eyes. I don't know. We'll take a look at the guidebook and we'll see if it gives us any information, but it's not a huge guidebook, so I kind of doubt it. But yeah, you can see there is wonderful cheekiness and diversity in this deck. So if, you know, you've held off for, you know, these old collage art decks because they're not diverse enough, I think this one hits the mark. I really do. This is one of my favorite Six of Cups, Six of Waters, I think, ever. It is fantastic. And it really suits the essence of the card. Look at the joy on their faces. It's just precious. I almost didn't get this deck, and I am so glad that I bit. This card. Okay, so you see that the courts have been renamed. So curiosity is for the page, and I... While I was doing the musical flip through, I was laughing, and then some cards had me on the verge of tears because certain images just stirred something inside of me. And then it was like flip-flopping of emotions with this deck, just flipping through it. It had me laughing, and then it had me on the verge of tears. And to me, that's a sign of a good deck. Now, this kind of deck may not affect you in the same way, but that's the way these type of decks, and this deck in particular, and it's new. This is an unboxing and first impressions. I haven't worked with it yet. So yeah, the real proof is going to come with the use of it. Fantastic for the Two of Fire, I think. Yeah, so, you know, I may have a different reaction when I actually try to read with it, but I don't think so. I usually respond to these type of decks very easily without having to force a relationship. And this card, I think, is very cheeky, and I almost think, look at her, it's like, oh my gosh, I won. And he's like, heh heh heh, I'm gonna see you in my hotel room later. You know how things were back in those days. You know, if a woman wanted to get anywhere, yeah, not a lot of options. You know, old Hollywood, it just, yeah, it gives me those kind of vibes. But the expressions are funny. I love this Eight of Fire or Eight of Wands if you're kind of newer to tarot. I don't know if I would recommend this for a beginner right off the bat, but you know, if you don't let what anybody else says, if some artwork or a certain tarot deck sparks something in you, stirs something in you, you know, you buy that deck, you use that deck, whether or not it's deemed as a beginner friendly, advanced, intermediate, whatever. Oh, I love this picture. Look at the guns on her. Now, I don't know if she's female presenting and, you know, a standard female for the time, but look at the guns on this person. Yeah. I love it. This is kind of a badass card. Kind of images of Marlon Brando or Steve McQueen. And I know some of you younger people who are watching, you're going to go, huh? Yes, I'm dating myself. This is a great throwback picture to this. I would say this is early to mid 60s. Definitely early 60s from the hair and the fabric, this kind of paisley fabric. I would only know that because I nerd out on historical fashion. And I have to show you, I think, my favorite king card. I quite like this Two of Air and this Three of Air. So the equivalent of the Three of Swords. I think it's fantastic. But my favorite card is this Sovereignty of Air. So the King of Swords. Oh my gosh. Not a ton of age in this card, but this one really makes up for it. There's a lot of youthful energy in this deck, but you know what? This one card totally makes up for it for me. I think it's fantastic. I think it's fierce. And it's one of those cards that just, a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom. Not going to be, you know, not going to mollycoddle you, but is going to give you fantastic advice, wonderful words of wisdom. Yeah, I think they hit it out of the park with this. And just for inquiring minds who want to know, it's wonderful linen cardstock. A little bit slippy, but it's so manageable because of the size of this deck. I don't know if this deck is still available on a site. I will leave the information down below if it is, if this deck is still available. If you missed out on the Kickstarter, I will definitely leave that below. But yeah, it shuffles like a dream. And yeah, fantastic. All right, so let's take a look really quick at the guidebook. The guidebook is pretty small. So, you know, you're going to get your basic information in here, but it's beautifully, beautifully collaged. Let's see. The Rosebud Tarot came into the world when digital collage artist Amanda Lee Stilwell listened to a call to create a new tarot deck. She later enlisted her dear friend Diana Rose Harper to contribute words to Rosebud, bringing the deck more fully to life. And I think this deck took about 3 years to bring into fruition. Yeah, I think that's Anna Pavlova. So a little about the deck. The Rosebud has a specific attitude and approach, collapsing time just as Amanda's art collapses era and visual perspectives. This little guidebook aims to give you light-handed guidance in interpreting the cards. We believe that the best card meanings are the ones you create over time and with familiarity with a given deck, unfurling like a bud into a blossom. We recommend acquiring a fresh notebook to keep track of your engagement with Rosebud. Your future self will thank you for taking the time to write down the questions you ask, as well as your thoughts, insights, and interpretations. Most importantly, let your curiosity guide you. Your own inner child is far wiser than you might think. Oh, giving me the tingles. So it goes into what is tarot, the basic structure. So that's important if you're just starting. A little bit about the elements, the court cards, the numbered, so that it goes a little bit into numerology, just a little bit, interpreting the minor arcana. Let's see what information. Okay. So you get a little description, and then let's see. So for the Fool, the youth, a young child with a serious face stands atop a rocky ledge, a blooming pink rose in one hand and butterfly wings emerging from her back. Next to her is a small suitcase and her canine companion. Her expression is determined in its youthfulness, ready to begin the next adventure. A daytime blue sky scattered with stars and emblazoned, with a rainbow suggests that this rest stop is one between worlds or between lives. And let's see, you get upright and reversed meanings. And it looks like there's some poetry. To begin again, as though beginning itself is the point. A sacred innocence bolstered by accumulated experience. Wisdom begotten by unwisdom. The Icarian foolishness of choosing, yet again, to touch the live wire of living. To learn those things that only life itself can teach. Oh my gosh. Now that's the information for the majors. Now does it go? Okay, so you don't get anything for the minors. No, you get all this wonderful information for the majors, and you just get this at the beginning of the book, an exercise for interpreting the minors, and you get the little numerology. So you'll have to glean that for yourself. There's just tips. Yeah, interpreting the minor arcana. So you won't get any specific information for each of the minor arcana. This is basically for the majors and not the minors. Okay, so just so you know. All right, you all, I am so happy and so grateful I did not cancel my backing on Kickstarter of this deck. You know, even though I have a lot of well-cherished, well-loved decks that are my go-to in this genre, this one has a unique voice that is screaming to me. It's screaming to me, and that may not come across for all of you, because we all gravitate toward different things. But as I have found with each of my other decks in this genre, they all have their own unique voice. And this one does as well. And I haven't used it yet. So yes, the proof is in the pudding. But it's basically screaming to me. I love it. I love everything about this deck. From the cardstock to the images to the way the collage was done. It makes me laugh. It makes me want to cry. It has everything. It's diverse as this kind of genre can be. It's got some different body types. It's got a little bit of age diversity, but it does have some race diversity. I think it's wonderful. The cardstock is what I love, linen cardstock, the card size. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful feat for these creators. So let me know in the comments below what you think. Did you back this? Do you like this genre of deck? And also, if you found this unboxing and walkthrough helpful in any way, please consider hitting a like, a subscribe, or hitting that new super thanks button that YouTube is letting me have. Okay, with that, thank you so much for spending time with me, and I'll let you get on with your beautiful day. Bye for now.